administration, right? So in the work process administration, we have so D for dialogue, D for D V E B M G S. In the D B E B M G S, so dialogue we discussed, right? Update, NQ, background we discussed. Up to 3 we covered. So today we'll discuss about the message server. Message server. So what does it mean by message server here? Message server. So message server is available in the ASCS instance. ASCS instance here, right? So we have the two instances will be created. So suppose this is the presentation layer. So this is the SAP. This is the database here. So when you install the SAP, so here you will get the two instances here. One is the SCS, that is called the central services. The second one is called the application server instance here. Application server instance here. So this is the presentation layer, right? Where we have the SAP logon pads and GUI, where we are here. So here we have the ASCS, above system central services. Here we have the message server, NQ server is available here. So here we have work process remaining. All 5 work processes are available here, including so dialogue, update, background, so gateway, spool. So here we have the dispatcher. We have the dispatcher is available here, right? Dispatcher also available in the each application server. We have the dispatcher is available here. So all your logon pads, you are directly connecting to your application server. You are directly connecting to the application server. Then you are launching the application server. Then it is pulling the data in the database level. So you are getting the data. So this is the current scenario. This is the DB. This is the SAP application server, and this is the presentation layer. This is the present scenario which you have here, right? So apart from that, not only this scenario here, so sometimes we may have more than one application server. Sometimes we may have more than one application server. Sometimes we may have more than one application server. So in that case, how can we connect? How can we connect to the server? Suppose if sometimes we may have, depends upon the load, you may have to install the one more application server. You may have to install the one more application server. You may have to install the one more application server. You keep on installing the application servers. SAP application server. Each application server, you have the same concept. Dispatcher, remaining 5 work process. Dispatcher, remaining 5 work process. Dispatcher, remaining 5 work process here. Each app server, you have the similar kind of work is there here, right? But ASCS is only one. DB is only one. DB is only one, and ASCS is only one. So then presentation layer, SAP logon pad, ASC only one. So in this case, you have the 4 application server, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here one ASCS. Suppose it depends upon the load, you are working on this one. So sometimes what happens, this application server is down. You are directly connecting to this application server, right? The first application server. So you are connecting to this application server, this is down. Then even though these 3 are up, still you are unable to log in. Then what is the use of the additional application servers here, right? You got my point, right? So you have the total 4 application servers are there. 4 will handle the SAP load. 4 will complete your work process. Dialogue, update, everything is there. These 4 are same. You are connecting to the one application server. This is down. Then you cannot able to log in, right? You cannot able to log in. Why? Because you are directly connecting to the application server. So you cannot able to log in here. Even though remaining 3 are up. Even though the remaining 3 app servers are up, you cannot connect it here. Even though the remaining 3 are up, you cannot connect it to the remaining application server. In this case, message server come to the picture. So message server will do the logon load balancing activity, SMMS, logon load balancing activity, which means instead of you directly connecting to the individual app servers, why? Because you have the more than one, then you no need to connect through direct app server here. So what you have to do, you need to connect to your ASCS instance message server, right? If you connect the message server will perform the load balancing activity here. Message server will perform the load balancing activity here. So what the message server will do when you are connecting to the message server will perform the load balancing, which means, okay, these are the my 4 subordinates. So in which subordinate which have the less load, then your request will route to the the respective app server. It will route to the here. Even though if it is down, if this is down, then remaining 3 are up. Then your request will be allocated to the out of this 3, it will be allocated. Even though this is also down, then it will allocate to the remaining 2. Even though this is also down, it will allocate to the this one. So who is doing this one? Your message server, which is there in the ASCS instance. So message server will perform the logon load balancing activity. So that is the reason. What is the use of the message server means? It will perform the load balancing activity. The who are connecting to ASCS instance, who are directly, now we are connecting to direct app server. But who are connecting to direct ASCS instance, that time message server will route the request to the respective app server, respective application server, so that you will not get the you will log in any one of the application server, you will get login to the any one of the application server. So that is the aim of the application server concept here. That is the main aim of the message server. Message server will perform the load balancing activity here. Why? Because ASCS is only one. If we connect to the ASCS, it will perform the here. But the message server will route the request based upon the logon groups. So which means message server will work based upon the logon groups which you created in the SMLZ transaction code. Before you go ahead and log in with the message server, you need to create the logon groups. You have to configure logon groups. You have to configure in the SMLZ transaction code, right? Just go to the SMLZ transaction code here. Just click on the create group. Suppose what I can do, see here, all India users should log into the all the instances. Then you have to configure the groups here. Suppose like this. So you have the number of application servers are there. You need to configure the all the application servers here. So that here you have configured the groups, right? You have configured the groups. Everything is done here. Then SMLZ you have to configure. Go to the SAP logon pad here. Click on the create connection. Then next button. Here you need to use the group server selection. Here you need to use the group server selection, not the custom application server. A custom application server means directly you are connecting to the application server, not the ASCS instance. If you connect to the ASCS instance, then this will route the request. Even though you have the 4, 5, or 6 are there, you will get no. Select the group application server here. So then provide the description of SAP ECC. So through groups you are connecting here, right? What is the ECP? Here you need to type the group server name here. So group server name. Here you need to type the SAP Windows 1. Then here you need to type the message server details here. 3641 is the instance number. Message server instance number is the 3641 is the instance number. So if you want, you can see here the message server group name here 3641. That is the group server selection name which you have to connect it. See here, please wait while system connected to the message server. Sir, how can you know this is the message server or not here? So it is unable to connect to this port number here. So why? Because maybe I have to check what is the correct message server details here. Correct message server details here. All right. So let me log into the my ECP here. 4041. Why? Because message server instance details you have to give it here. So 2021. Yeah, sorry. 2021 we have to give it here. 21, not the 4041. So 21. Why? Because here the message server details are 21 here. If you go to the access points here, you will see the message server port number here. Message server port number here, right? 3621. 3621 is the port number here, right? 3621 here. So here 36. So 21 you have to give it here. 21 you have to give it here. Then as soon as you give the 21, see here. Here we got the groups. Whatever the groups you created, we got it here. So I selected the public group here, right? Other India groups here. All India users should log into this group, or public users should log into this group. Then click on OK button, finish. Then you see you connected through groups here. So when you are connecting to the groups here the message server, you are directly connecting to the message server now. You are directly connecting to the message server now. So that message server, while logging to the system, message server will check, oh, in out of 4, which one is having less load, then your message server will route the request to the respective application server. But this scenario will work when you have more than one application server. If you have one application server, if you directly connect to the here only this one, if you connect through ACS only one here. So there is no hiccups, there is no problem here. So you won't get that exact symptoms here, right? If you down, it won't work. If you have the more than one, out of 2, one is down, another one is available, but still user can connect to the respective instance. He can connect it here. Respective instance, he can connect to the respective instance. That is the main aim of the message server instance here. Okay, so that is the main aim of the message server here. So whenever you log into the system, message server will perform the load balancing activity, will assign the request to the respective dispatcher. So that dispatcher will take the request, will check whether the user ID is valid or not, then will assign to the respective dialog work process. So dialog work process your request, and all kind of work will be performed by the dialog work process here. So that is the sequence will come. So message server is only to perform the load balancing activity. Message server is only will perform the load balancing activity. Just go to the SMMS, then you see whether the message server is up and running or not here. Yes, message server is running here. That's it. You need to check here, message server is active or not here. Then if you go to the SMLG transaction code here, SMLG, here you can see so what is the status of your response time here. See here, 11 users are logged in here. So in the 11 users, what is the response time here? Here, heavy response time here. So which means system is having the heavy response. The response time is very, so it's kind of lax, right? Which means something is not good in the system. Something is not good in the system here. Why? Because it is having the heavy response here. Heavy response, one job, one dialog work process running here. So it is having the heavy response in the system. So that is the main thing here, right? So that is the here. So message server will work based upon the logon groups here, which you created here, right? So that you are logging, the 2 app servers are there. You are logging through this group. Then this group is escalated to the which application servers. Then that instance will handle the load here. That instances will handle the load here. So this is work when you are logging through. So you are logging through the groups. When you are working, you are logging through the group. Then that time this will work. That time this will work here. Okay, when you are logging to the group, that time, so the message server will route the request to the respective app server. Respective app server will route the request to the respective app server here. Okay, got it? Any questions from anyone? It's clear, right?
So that means whenever you take RP1, if you take RP1, there will be one instance number and one instance and one. That means the two systems will be there, sir. If you take like instance number 00 and 01, we need to install the other one 02. No, then only to load the necessary. And how we have to download that 02 instance number?
So RP1 we have. So okay, in RP1, suppose like RP1 we have in RP1 system, we have the RP1 system. In the RP1 we have the 0, okay, 4 and 5 is
04 and
5 is. So 04, 05 is there. So when you are working on the 04 and 05 here, so what's happened here? So this application server, this is the ASCS instance, message server, entity server. So any landscape, any system, only ASCS is only one. But respective application server, we can create multiple application servers, we can create it here. Right? 04, one application server is there. So this is having this many dialog process we have. So this many dialog processes we have here, right? This many dialog work process and BTC are one. Currently, these application servers are not sufficient to handle the load. If you want to install one more application server, in that case, you need to install one more application server by using the SWPM tool. By using the SWPM tool, we have to install one more application server. We have to go to the SWPM, then go to the SAP INST. Maybe someone already doing that one. We are already, so Arif is doing. So Arif is doing the installations. So he is doing.
Yes, sir, I'm doing installation. Still is in process.
Okay. But it's not mandatory to do the installations. The only thing is after installation, what is happening, that is the very important here. Okay, you can use the existing systems to do the install, to use it here. So I will remove the software. Okay, by today, once you've done the installations, I will remove the software. Because
okay, sir. Actually, I have never done the SAP installation in Windows. I have done in Linux. So that is what I just wanted to
no
check.
problem.
How
yeah, I can. It's a very simple Windows system. It is very simple. You can do that one.
Okay, thank you.
So once you done the installation, what we can do, we can add the one more application server. That is very simple actually. Adding the application server is very simple here. Adding the application server is very simple in the systems here. That we can do that one. Okay. So that does not require much time also. In maybe in half an hour that will be completed. Adding the new application server that we can perform it. So once you done the installation, we can add the one more application server. Then we can connect it. We can perform the load balancing activity here while connecting to the RP1 system. So here what we have to do, we need to connect to the group server selection. Group server selection here. Here we need to use the groups. So then only message server will assume, okay, this group is allocated to the how many instances. Then message server will assume, then will process your request here. Will process your request here. Like that, message server will assume. And suppose this is the group allocated to the 01 application server 20 and 21. Then your request will be processed to the 20 and 21 also. Okay. So that is the one thing here. We can check it out here. Right. So that is the one. So here the message server will work based upon the group, logon groups. Right. So whatever the groups you create in SMLG, that will work. Whatever the SMLG, it will work based upon that it will work it out here. Okay. So that is the main thing here. Okay. So any questions?
If any issue rises related to message server, where to check the log files for that one?
Okay. So sometimes message server is not responding. That is come as part of the troubleshooting. Okay. Since suppose message server is not responding, message server is not processing. So normally where we can check the message server related details, SMMS here, right? Go to the SMMS here, then you can go to the here. So there is a trace, right? Just open the trace file. Here you will see the all the details here, how the message server is behaving here. So what is the error log here? So all the information will be displayed here. Okay, any connection issue. So is it routing the request or not? Is it loading the application server or not? Any errors here, any network issue. So all the information will be recorded in the message server trace file here. Only message server related information, message server trace file, it is available here. So in this location, go to here, trace file, open, display. That will open here. Okay.
Thank you.
So this kind of load balancing. Suppose if I take one small example here, so how it will perform on if you don't understand, simple concept. Okay, simple concept. In out of your 5 fingers, okay, 1 finger is not working, then remaining 4 fingers will help, right? So remaining 4 fingers will help to pick up the one of the object, one of the item, right? Same as like, so suppose like one is not working, your thumb finger, then so middle finger or chota finger, something like that, ring finger, we are the fingers, right? So out of these 4, if you have only one is down, then you cannot take it. You have the 5 fingers, means 5 application servers you have. If the one application server is down, then remaining 4 fingers you have, right? You can take it out. Somehow you can manage it, right? The workload, you can manage it. So 3 is down, remaining 3, 2 is down, remaining 3. Like that, if you have the more than 1 application server, that time to log in with the message server, the load balancing will work. If you have only one, if this is down, how the message server will route the request to the only one? If you are directly connecting to the here, or if you are directly bypassing the request through my message server, so there is no chance, right? So there is no luck. So if you are directly connecting to the message server, if you have the more than 1 application server is there, then the request, this is down, all the request will go to the here. In this case, users won't face any unavailability of the SAP servers, unavailability of the SAP request and everything here. Users, it won't face the unavailability of the things here. That is the main thing of the here. Right? So that is the here. So presentation layer, application layer, and in the application layer we have the ASCS instance and the remaining dispatchers. So as of now, how you are directly connecting to the application server. So that is okay. If your one is there, that is okay. But if you have one more is there, you're directly connecting to the only this application server, the load is on this application server only, right? You have created the one more application server. So what about this one? What about this one? Who will use this one, right? That's why instead of you directly connecting here, if you connect this one, so ASCS instance will route the request to the respective app server. It will route the request. That is the one here we have. Got it? So that is the reason we have the message server load balancing concept here, right? So but message server will work based upon the groups which you define in the SMLG. SMLG is the transaction code here. Here you can check the message server response time and everything you can see here. The response time is very peak here. So something is happening in the system, it is very high. So that is the reason you can see response time is 99,000. It's very high, right? So it is very high. So something is happening here. Here we can check the response time and the logon group creation, like which groups. Suppose you have the 5 countries, India, China, some other countries also, UK, US, you have the countries. So you want to filter, you want to segregate. I want all the India users log into the only one application server. Then you can choose the respective application servers in the list. You can check it out here. You don't want to all in the one. You want to only, so public users should be in this application server and remaining means you can like that. We can configure the logon group entries here. Like this, we can configure the logon group entries. Then so we can process it here. Like this, we can, so users can log into the same like that. They will log in through logon groups and message server will route the request here. Right? This way we can control the users access, request flow and everything. We can control it here. Right? So that is the one thing here. So and also you see here there is a lot of dumps are happening. You need to investigate in the ECP production why the lot of dumps are happening. Anyone checked? So you need to check it out if not yet checked here, right? So that is the one thing. If you go to the AL08 all 08, then here all users list will be opened here. So someone using SM36 here. Who is this? So one of the business user, I guess, is maybe they are using SM36 for the job user in our classmate only. He is using. One more person is doing the remote client copy, right? See here, remote client copy they are performing. So like this number of people, so they are doing their work here, right? That we can find out in the SM04 and AL08 and everything here, right? So that is the one thing here to log into the SAP app server here, right? So apart from that group application server, then we have the next work process called the gateway work process here, right? So gateway work process is responsible for gateway security, gateway work process here. So what is the gateway work process concept here? What is the gateway work process here? What is the use of the gateway work process here, right? So gateway work process means your gateway security. So now you see whenever in any apartments, if you go any apartments or anywhere, you see the gateway person. Gate person is the security guard. In front of the gate, there is a gateway person, right? So what he will do? Gateway person. Normally, anyone knows? Suppose if you are going to the shopping mall inside of gate, so outside of the gate, there is one gateway person. He will check, right? He will perform the security checks. If you are the valid person, if you are the authorized person, then only your connection means you are allowed inside of the mall, right? Same as like inside of the home. Same as like here gateway also it kind of security mechanism here. So it is available in front of your server. So if any request is coming to your server, here, then immediately the gateway work process will check, whether this is valid connection or not, whether he is having the hacker connection or is the genuine person. That will check. Then if he is a genuine person, so it will allow the connection to the inside of the system. If he is not the genuine person, he will not, this security gateway will block it here. Gateway will close the door. He will not allow inside of the system here. That is what here it will do the gateway work process. For gateway, SMGW is the transaction code here. Here we can check the gateway related things and everything we can find out from here, right? So one person is connected through SAP logon pad is connected here. Same as like if you see the logged on clients, so you see the connections are okay. All the connections are okay here. One person with IP, they have connected here. So like this, all the connections we can see it from here. So if the users are not able to connect it, we need to check whether gateway has some limitations. Any person is connecting to the SAP system, so that has remote gateway, he will connect it here. That has some limitations, 2000 connections it will allow, right? So now currently only one is useful. It means currently only one work process I am using login to the system and I am working here. So that if you are the more than 2000 users are there, then already 2001 is coming, the person is logging, then gateway will not allow. Why? Because the gateway capacity is only 2000. Then it will not allow. Then you need to increase the parameter, you have to increase it here. The connection limit, you have to increase it. We can do that one, right? So like this, the gateway security things we can find out from the here, right? We can find out from the here gateway monitor. So gateway is kind of will perform the kind of security checks here. So it will allow the only valid connections inside of the system. Why? Because we need to protect the data. So we are not only providing the software to the customers, we need to protect our data, the customer data also, right? By software. Software should protect your data, right? So you are releasing the one product means that is fine, but that will be in the safe hands, right? And also it should be safe. Your data should be safe within the server. So right, otherwise what the hackers will do, the cybers. So they will log in, they will hack your server, they will encrypt, decrypt, they will theft your data. right? So if there is no security, proper security connections and everything, security guard, same as like that is the reason in front of every building, so they will put the security settings, security guy, and also in our server side also we have the one gateway guy is there, gateway guy, he will perform the all the validations and everything here. Something goes wrong, here also we have the trace, open the trace file, here I can see here what is happening, why gateway is not responding, why gateway is not opening, why gateway process getting failed, why some remote gateway is failing here, some gateway connections are failing here, why, what is the reason? So like that we can find out the some information here. See here, this connection, this IP is unable to connect it here, unable to connect, the connection refused, it is unable to connect it here. So we can find out the all kind of information here in the gateway security here. So normally as part of the daily checks, we have to log in and see all the connections are okay or not, connected or not connected. Something is red, we need to select that connection, then we have to delete it here. Something we need to select and we have to take the action here. We have to select and we have to delete that connection here. So we have to delete that connection. We can delete the connection as well. We can perform the deletion. So, and also sometimes the gateway is down, the gateway, your gate is closed. What will happen? No one will log, no one go inside of the server, right? Same as like here,
Yes,
gateway work process is closed, so no one log into the your system. So that we have to check. System is up, you are able to log in, database is up, everyone is fine, but only users are unable to log in. New users are unable to log in. Then in this case, we need to check new users are unable to log in, existing users are already working, means oh something is difficult here, which means we need to check the limitations, gateway limitations here. So only new users are not able to log in means the connection limit is over. So means 2000 connection limit is by default over. Then we can make it to 4000. So then 4000 users will log into the one application server. So like this, so the we can gateway will allow the based upon the this parameters, this limitations here. Okay. This is the gateway work process related connectivities here. Okay, so we can discuss more on the gateway side, but you will get confused. For now, for this matter is enough for you. This matter is enough for you. Why? Because still we can discuss more. More means we go to the expert function. I want to restrict more functionalities here. Not all the users I don't want to maintain here. In this case, you need to create the external functionality. Some ACL files you have to reginfo, secinfo files we have to create it here. You will get confused. So for now, we can ignore it. While we are going to the further classes, that time I will explain this concept, ACL concept here. For now, gateway work processes, so will allow the connections inside of the server here. So all those things here we can monitor from here. All those things we can monitor from. So SMGW, who are connecting, who are not connecting, all type of connectivities we can perform from here. Okay. So today we can just check the gateway and message server logon groups. These three you can practice it, and also you can explore your tests in a jobs tests I mentioned, right? You can check on that part.